if you had a bad start after 5 laps and you're sitting there and you can't get off the track, yeah, it's pretty boring when you're sitting there watching 100 times people going around you. So,
Yeah.
loads of fun to watch those enduro races. I'd like to see them maybe come back one of these days. Do like one a year, maybe. there at the
Absolutely.
Speedway.
Fans love them. They're entertaining. Lots of action, and it's the survival of the fittest.
We're now going to move focus over to the Midwest Modifieds. We've got a ton of cars in this one tonight, a total of 19. Paul Veert is going to be on the pole, and this one on his outside is going to be Christopher Leake. Row 2's got the 00D of David Delane from Lorette, Manitoba, and Grant Hall from Brandon is on his outside. The 55 of Murray Cozy's in row 3 with Cody Wall, the 24 car, filling in for his dad tonight. The 4th row belongs to Nick Audette and Tony Casey. Row 5, we've got Eric Frey and Jason Somack. Row 6 is Brandon Rehill and Dave Kozenko. Row 7 is the 44X of Rich Nelson and the 4P of Pete Ans. The 8th row has the 3 car of Ted Dell, pardon me, and the 28 of Channing Spruill. Row 9's got the 60 of Len Carlson and the 84 of Justin Lee. And finally in row 10, it's Austin Hunter. So these guys are going to go. They're notoriously good at getting yellow flags.
I ain't saying nothing. I'm not using that word unless it's being shown on the racetrack.
Of course, these Midwest Modifieds brought to you by Murray Cozy Trucking. Looks like we'll be going green here. Great thing about this class, numbers are huge.
Absolutely. Cody Wall coming up from the street stocks, racing here again. Is that a sign of another street stock leaving, moving up into another class?
Could be.
Time will tell, but we are green flag feature racing now.
Veered up front. Well, they are driving fairly slow in 1 and 2, but there are a couple cars weaving around each other. I don't know if there was a reason for that.
I didn't see what happened back there.
That 88 car, he's in the lead. That's Paul Veert, the 17, not far behind him, Christopher Leake. We've got one in. Plenty more to go. Some great racing for 4th through 7th.
Caution coming out for Ray Hill. Not sure what happened. I didn't see it, but he's pulling back onto the track on top of turn 2. Looks like he went off by himself.
And that's one thing you have to remember. I mean, as an official, they're trying to watch, in this case, 19 cars race on a very large track. You look at some of the other tracks that are run locally here in Manitoba and in the southern part of us here in the United States and North Dakota. Much smaller, much more round track. So from a farther distance, you can see a pretty good grasp of the track. And if you see something happen, it's easy to look. But when you're in this track here, it's very easy to be looking at turn 1 and not see anything happening on turn 2 and 3 because it's such a long and wide track.
Absolutely, and that's the positioning of the officials. You've got an official in the middle of turn 1 and 2. His job is to watch that. We've got an official in turns 3 and 4. He watches that. Now, there's a lot to watch in both of those. So we've also got officials up here by our camera guys who are watching over. We got guys roaming the infield. There's officials all over the track, and everyone's kind of got a spot where they're told, just
This is what you're watching.
yeah, take a look for that. But again, it's racing, and you hear somebody talking, or you see the fans pointing to another corner. Something exciting's happening. We're all human. We're all going to look at what's exciting happening. So stuff like that happens. But yeah, it's tough to watch. But we got a lot of officials who dedicate a lot of time to these tracks to make these races possible.
On a fan's perspective, of course, it is a large track, so you know you're watching your favorite racer, no problem watching them. But if you're missing a good battle somewhere, it's quite possible in a size of a track of this size. It's so easy because it's so wide spread out, and it's the uniqueness of Red River Co-op Speedway.
Absolutely. But then again, when you're watching a short track and you got a lot of cars, they get into lap traffic a lot more often, so there's just a constant buzz.
Correct.
And so you don't know where to look at those. You don't know who's first. You don't know who's 10th. You don't know who's being lapped. Whereas here, because of the longer track, you can kind of keep track of where everyone's at a lot easier. So the action is more together.
Well, cars getting back in order. We're going to go back to green flag racing here in just a second. Como looking them over, so we're going to be going as they go around turns 3 and 4 now. Veert's out in front. He's got 14 more laps to go if he wants to hold on to this one.
Cody Wall up and off of turn 2, he was running 4th, and he's dropped way back to the back half of the field now. Grant Hall moving up into 3rd position.
As we're going into turn number 2 now, your leader still is that 88 car. The 17, though, feeling a little pressure by that 4H of Grant Hall.
Got a car spinning around in the middle of turn 1, and there's going to be the caution flag. Hopefully the leaders do see him, and they do, and they're going to get around him. That was a close call.
Well, we'll reset once again. Get back to the action here. The problems with 19 cars can sometimes be great racing. No, not problem, but they can give us great racing. But in the same breath, you can see a lot of this on a given night.
Yeah, for sure. And that's just a lot of guys going for one spot. Everyone wants to be first, and no one wants to wait 13 more laps to get there. I want to be there now.
Some of these drivers putting it on the line tonight. Of course, the last race of the season for many of these guys. A few tracks still racing south of the border, from what I understand. So there are some other options out there. But for many of these drivers, this is the end of their 2014 season. The only racing they'll be doing is watching it on video replay afterwards to see how they did.
They're going to listen to our voices all winter long.
Going back a few years, of course, the modifieds had some issues here at the Speedway. I can recall that they were constantly, night after night, having tons of yellow flags, but their issue wasn't the case of larger numbers. They had 13 to 15 cars back then. Their issue was there was a lot of new drivers and getting used to the track, driving with these new drivers. Now you watch those modifieds drive, and they drive so well, and they're giving us such great racing. With a class like this with 19 cars, as we see tonight, could just take a little bit of that time.
Absolutely. This class grew quickly, and a lot of new drivers came into it. It's become very popular. We're back to green flag racing.
We got cars all over the place.
Grant Hall diving to the bottom of the track, making the pass for second place, as he's going to try to reel in our leader, Paul Veert, in that 88 car.
Paul with a fast car tonight. He's got some wheels out there. 12 laps to go. Can't afford to have too many more yellow flags tonight, as time is already ticking down. 8 minutes left on the clock. So, as they said, a minute per lap is what they're putting on the clock tonight. So with 15 laps in this race, we're down to 8 left on the clock, which means any more major accidents, our clock's going to expire quickly. Almost a collision there between the 3 and the 00D. Veert still your leader. 10 laps to go in this race. Hall in second spot. The 17, Christopher Leake, he's in third. Tony Casey in fourth. Delane in fifth. Then it's Nick Audette and Jason Somack. Great class to watch here when they're all going on all cylinders and ripping around this track. They have found their groove. No, no, spoke a little too soon. Turn 1 and 2.
That's going to bring out another caution. Oh, we weren't going to talk about this anymore.
Well, not that I was talking about it because I was just saying, and I looked over and I said, "Oh, it already happened." So I don't take any blame for that one.
Perfect. We'll call that one a freebie.
Murray Cozy in the corner there. He's waving for some reason. I don't know if he needs help or something. I'm looking for a tow truck maybe, having some mechanical problems.
Didn't see what transpired there. I was busy watching the leaders just pull away from the field. Those top 3 cars were quite spaced out between each other, but they were also taken away from the field.
Yeah, it looks like there may have been just little problems handling in that corner by that 47 car. And that was enough just to give Cozy a little bit of piece of his front bumper.
Yeah, it looks like Cozy took a pretty good shot there.
Car's now moving around the track. Cozy's still waiting to get off. Tow truck's out there trying to help him out. We are still waiting for Murray Cozy to get off the track. He's in turn 2 right now. Special thanks to our crew tonight here in the Manitoba Racing Network. Couldn't do it without them. Cliff, Sean here, who's here tonight with us. Jordan, Bryce, who's making an appearance now. And of course, can't forget Noel. Without those guys, this could not happen. Cars now getting back in order. Oh, and a special thanks to our director tonight, doing a great job. Marshall Mays on the board tonight, cutting you a fine show. So it looks like we're going to probably go single file here, just to maybe speed things up a bit.
Yep, let's let them space out and see what's going to happen. That is not good news for our leader, Paul Veert.
No, that's exactly.
Grant Hall has been moving today. Not to take anything away from Christopher Leak.
No.
He's also been flying. But when they're side by side and the leader gets to start by himself, that leader gets a pretty good jump. Now Hall can ride his back bumper and make a move going into the corner if he's got enough speed.
Well, with 9 laps to go, we've got plenty of time. However, that clock is still ticking. And the trucks are now moving back into the infield, so it looks like we're going to be going here in a lap or so. Pylon is out. Looking them over, we're going to go now. Veert hits the throttle, and Veert's hot on his heels. Kirby Hall's hot on his heels.
Veert with a better run off the corner and down the backstretch as he puts some gap on second place again. Christopher Leak in that 17 car. Man, that car looks good. carrying that wheel, that left front wheel through the corner, nothing better than a mod that's all jacked like that in the corner. Leave the left front at home, it's not needed.
Well, the top three have been pretty much standalones tonight.
Yeah, not much competition for them.
Tony Casey slowly trying to creep up, but he's got a while to go. Another car hits the infield, and he pops back out, which means we're going to see lap traffic right away. Veert coming in on lap traffic as he's going around turn 4. Car's right there beside him now. This could get interesting with Hall so close.
Yeah, Hall has closed that gap.
Oh, a couple cars collide on turn 4. I didn't say anything this time. Let me just say it.
Yeah, no, I didn't hear nothing. I didn't see it even.
It's the number 20 car. That's the 20. It says on the roof, it says 20. Am I correct?
You are correct.
So that looks like it's the 20 car of Nick Audette. He ended up hitting the concrete barrier when he collided with the other vehicle. He's giving the thumbs up. He's okay.
Yeah. But I think he's going to need a tow. I saw those seatbelts come off. And
yeah, he's going for a ride.
yeah.
Season's over. And guess what's winding down? Let's see how this one transpired. And it is the 3 car, Somac, I think, that ended up going a little out of his line and causing him to get pushed over.
Yeah, that was a big hit into the wall, too.
We go in reverse. Let's take a look at this one again. And we'll take a look. Does he lose the line? It looks like the 20 keeps his line as he's slowly going forward. And is it Somac that's falling out of his? Yeah, it looks like Somac just sliding right over. He's got no control.
Yeah, at that speed, yeah, that's the way it looks like there.
No chance for the 20 of Audette.
Again, big hit into the wall there. Good thing he gave the thumbs up.
So we're going to a green-white checkered. Clock's off. There's 2 laps on the board. So that pretty much means 2 laps to go in the final race of the season for this class. Not a surprise, because this is how the season's gone for the Midwest Modifieds here. A lot of yellows, a lot of time clock countdowns where it gets down to 0.
And a lot of good racing.
It's been a mix. Like, it's been a mixed bag in that respect. Like, I mean, they've had great nights followed by nights where it's been, unfortunately, a lot like this, where it's been 2 laps, yellow flag, 2 laps, yellow flag. When you're here as a fan, that's not what you want to see. You want to see some good racing and some good action without, minimal contact.
Yep.
Having said that, the fan does want to see the odd car flip over. And
absolutely.
Dustin Ann's provided that earlier in the night for us. But, they like to see some good quality racing. When you have 19 cars, you expect to see that, right? Some nice, tight races every once in a while. And when you can't get into that mode where we're racing on a consistent basis of 4 or 5 laps before we see a yellow flag, this is what happens.
Absolutely, yeah. It's tough to see, and again, the fans do love a good crash. That was a big hit into the wall. The fans that were right in front of that, I'm sure that will have sounded just fantastic. As a former driver, I hate seeing crashes because I know that that's going to hurt the wallet. Luckily, he's got all winter to save up and fix that car, and all will be good. All these guys got lots of good sponsors backing them, and that sure helps out too. But 2 laps to go, we should see a couple guys here really go for it.
Well, like you said, with just 2 laps, it's going to be interesting. If you're Grant Hall, you can't make a single mistake, and you've got to be hot on his heels for the entire 2 laps. Not to say that Christopher Lee can't do something similar, because, I mean, he's been racing very well all night. So those top 3, I'd be surprised if it doesn't stay the same. It's top 3, maybe in a different order, but the same top 3 in this race.
Grant Hall really needs to drive it into the corner harder than he's ever driven it into. and he's got to pick up the throttle quicker than he has before, and he's got to keep that car straight while he's doing it.
Fantastic season for Grant Hall again here at the Speedway. Paul Veert setting his sights. We've got one lap to green, and then a green, white, checkered scenario.
Who's it going to be? Are we going to see another yellow? Will this race
say anything?
Oh yeah, right. Oh man,
don't jinx us.
I'm too excited.
We got to get through this.
There's the green flag.
We are racing here again at Red River Co-op Speedway.
Grant Hall looking to the bottom, and Veert knew he was going there as we set up block going into turn 1, and that's going to open up his lead.
Pretty comfortable right now if you're Paul Veert. We've got a white flag now.
And we've got a spinner, 3 cars spinning in the back. I didn't say that word, did I? It's not my fault, I promise. There's the yellow flag. That is going to end this race. It's going to be a yellow checkered finish. Paul Veert picking up the win here tonight. Grant Hall going to come in second.
Not the way you wanted it to go if you're Grant Hall tonight. He had one lap left. He still had a lot of speed out there, so he could probably play catch up. But par for the course.
Yep, that's kind of how tonight's been going.
Well, we've now completed 2 feature races. That's the end of the season now for the Midwest Modifieds. We're now going over to the Pure Stocks. They're next up on the agenda. 13 cars tonight.
Even with a smaller group of pure stocks today, this is going to be a good race.
Well, there's a lot of guys in this class that can end up winning. If you take a look, Rod Delane, of course, he's on the pole tonight. Les McRae, he's done quite well.